Bouddha, de son manteau de moine, s'inspirait de modèles grecs. Mais il est évident que l'art gréco-bouddhique résulte de la fusion d'une pensée indienne, dans une certaine mesure aussi de tradition iconographique indienne, mais dans une très très large mesure surtout d'une tradition artistique grecque d'Asie centrale.
In fact, the historic meeting between Buddhism and Hellenism responded to a demand from the newly converted population to see their gods represented. Therefore, for the first time, the Buddha appeared with the features of a young Apollo. From 145 BC, the Greeks were progressively chased from their Bactrian land by nomadic Indo-Scythian tribes, the Kushans. The violence of the invasion and the brutality of these horsemen from the steppes did not alter the nature of Greco-Buddhist art. It would evolve under the Kushan Empire, as demonstrated by the ruins of the Buddhist temples found in Gandhara, near Hada, Bamiyan, and at the Ranigat site. The increasing number of followers led to the construction of a large number of Buddhist temples and monasteries. On this site, 1900 years ago, the largest temple in the region was built. It was over 15 meters high. A large collection of Buddhist statues was found, including this statue, with a purity and softness typical of Apollo, even though it dates from the Kushan era. Japanese archaeologists searched for key stages denoting the evolution of Buddhism in Gandhara up to the time it arrived in Japan.
1.16 and point, you can read that. 160.5, okay? 重いので車でしか運べないんですが、例題なんです。
In addition to Greco-Buddhist statues, they also discovered a sculpture from the 2nd or 3rd century AD.
これですね。はい、これ等身大の彫刻ですね。これをね見ますとちょっと腰にベルトがあったりね、ハート型の垂れ飾りがあったりですね。彫刻のこの絵柄から見ましてもね、やはりそのクシャンの偉い人、あるいはこの王様の像であるという可能性が高い。仏教のかなり盛んになるというのにこのクシャンの力っていいますかね、そういうものがかなり働いていたということはこういうところからも分かるかもしれません。
The history of the Kushans, who were nomads from the Iranian tribe of the Yushi, is a glorious one. As horsemen, they managed to realize an ancestral dream, to gallop into large cities. The most famous of their monarchs were the three kings of the Kanichka dynasty, who ruled from the end of the 1st through the 2nd century AD. Today, they continue their cavalry tradition with this game, the Buzkashi, which can be traced back to their Kushan origins. From a very young age, boys are introduced to extremely violent games. With their powerful cavalry, the Kushans progressively extended their influence over all of Central Asia. This warrior, dating back 2,000 years, provides a reminder that these skillful horsemen were capable of shooting a bow whilst galloping. They were also formidable military tacticians and strategists. They crossed the snowy passes of the Hindu Kush at great danger. They took control of Kabul and Gandhara, which so many people had fought for, and finally conquered northern India. The Kushan Empire was thus established and would last for 4 centuries. It imposed peace on Central Asia that was used to permanent wars. In the 1st century AD, the Han Chinese only recognized the existence of 3 empires: its own, Rome, then at its apogee, and the Kushan Empire that occupied a central position on the Silk Road, linking the Mediterranean to China. With no civilization of its own, the Kushans adopted the ways of the sedentary population in Bactria. Over time, they invaded the structures of their conquered kingdoms, occupying their cities, adopting their habits and customs, and abandoning their tent-dwelling life. In a word, they totally changed their lifestyle, except their traditional clothing, which was preserved. King Kanishka was dressed in clothing typical of Central Asia, a long coat and leather boots. He bore the titles of Great King, borrowed from the sovereigns of India. King of Kings, in common with the kings of Persia. And Son of Heaven, from the Chinese emperors. All these titles were engraved on his statue, revealing the close links of the Kushan Empire with these countries. When they arrived in Bactria, the Kushans discovered Zoroastrianism, together with Buddhism. Zoroastrianism was a religion founded around the 9th century BC by Zarathustra. This prophet of Bactria was the first monotheist. He preached the existence of a unique and kind God, Ahura Mazda. Zarathustra preached love for all living beings and purity of thoughts and actions. He prohibited animal sacrifices and contributed to the nomads from the steppes adopting a sedentary lifestyle and developing agriculture. They venerated fire, symbolizing purity. This walk around the fire during a wedding ceremony perpetuates the Zoroastrian tradition.
Bu mana endi yoshlikka qanchalik biz qilgan gunohlarimizni Xudo kechirsin degan maqsadga endi yonib ketsin gunohlarimiz. Endi biz gunohdan forig' bo'lib, endi uyli joyli bo'ldik degan ma'noni bildiradi. Bu alohida aynalish.
The coexistence of Zoroastrianism and Buddhism with Greek thinking led to a natural syncretism in the daily life of the various populations that made up the empire. The flames rising up from the Buddha's shoulders remind that the Kushans conferred upon Buddhism elements borrowed from Zoroastrianism.